301 days ago, the Tufts Jumbos left Bellow Field following a 1-0 loss to Washington and Lee in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament, feeling dejected and disappointed. However, today on Homecoming Day, the Jumbos will embark on a new journey with high expectations. Currently ranked number 11 in the country, the Jumbos will be aiming to make a longer NCAA run and improve on what was already a very successful season last year. The Jumbos into this game having already played 2 games, defeating MIT and Williams by 1-0 in both games. Today they face the Colby College Mules, who enter this game hoping to avenge their 3-2 loss last year in Waterville. My name is Jake Flossie. I'm joined by Nick Dorr and Max Druckman. What are we expecting today from the Jumbos, Max?
I think there's 2 people I'd like to spotlight on the Jumbo side, Jake. And by the way, it's great to be here with you and Nick. First of all, in defense, the graduate student Max Clivio makes his first start of the season after missing the first 2 games, which I believe were the first 2 misses of his collegiate career. Clivio is exactly what you want in a center back. He's tall, he's calm, he's composed, he's good under pressure, good in the air. Nothing will get by him, so his return is sure to be a big boost for the Jumbo's back line. And up top, Xavier Canfin is one to watch. This is his first start of the year. He had the winning goal last time out against Williams, which was just his second collegiate goal involvement.
We're going to take a quick moment to remember a beloved member of the Tufts Jumbos soccer program.
Sorry we can't be here today. We're honoring Alex in San Francisco by taking part in a charity walk hosted by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Thank you for remembering Alex today and for your support. At this time, please observe a moment of silence and remember the life of Tufts University men's soccer. As we honor America with the playing for our national anthem.
Following the national anthem and the moment of silence for Alex Park, we are back here on Bellow Field. Nick, can you walk me through what you're expecting today from the Colby Mules?
Yeah, for the Colby Mules today, like you might have mentioned already, they walk into this game 2-1 on the season. They're notably 0-1 in the NESCAC conference. This isn't their conference opener, while in contrast, of course, it is for the Jumbos of Tufts University.
The Jumbos actually did take on Williams earlier this season, but it is their home conference opener.
Home conference opener, certainly true, yes. And the Colby Mules took 2 wins this season against Thomas College. They won 2-1. And then they won against the University of Southern Maine in their last game. They won 2-0 there. And then conference-wise, they took a 3-2 loss to Bowdoin College. Notably, in that Bowdoin College game, they were leading 2-1 for just a little while. Now, players to watch in this Colby Mules offense especially, I'm looking for Mario Samoes. He's been super strong and super effective. Additionally, Arkham Traore. Arkham hasn't played a crazy, crazy effective season, but played a really good game against University of Southern Maine, and we're likely to see that continue as well. And then, of course, we're looking just to see this Colby team. They've been notable for firing a ton of shots at the net and definitely doing what they can to test Nicola Antic here on Bellow Field. So I think that's what we're likely to see today if the Jumbo's back line does give them that chance.
And Max, do you want to walk us through a few more of those Jumbos players to watch that you were going through a little bit earlier?
Yeah, so as I was saying, Xavier Canfin up top had the winning goal against Williams the other day. That was just his second collegiate goal, and ironically, both of them opened the Jumbo's NESCAC account in back-to-back years. So he's one to watch in his first start of the season on the left wing. Another guy I really like in the midfield, Bijan Sardani Das. It's unclear whether he'll be playing in a double pivot or as the singular defensive midfielder, but he is very tall. He's a great aerial presence. He's good on the ball as well. Plays some great passes through to the forward line. So I like him going up against this Colby midfield.
And Octozania Das is a bit of a Swiss Army knife for this Jumbos team. He also has played in the center back role earlier this season. But since, like you mentioned, Max Clivio is back in the roster today, we fully expect Octozania Das to do a bit more of an advanced role in this game.
Max, you talked about the role of Max Clivio. Do we think that the Jumbos are likely to manage his minutes today, or do you think we're likely to see him play a full 90?
Looks like he'll go the full distance. When your captain's back after the absence he's had, you need him out there as long as you can have him out there.
And while the Jumbos will be happy to have him back, they have had a pretty successful defensive record without him on the pitch. They have yet to concede a goal this season. And with Clivio back, you expect it to be much harder for the Colby side to score against them as the play kicks off with Brady driving up back to Feinberg. Sends a long ball up to Canfin, who slips. Ball goes out. Colby ball.
Not something you see a lot early in the season on this turf is slippage because it's very dry today, but unlucky from Canfin.
Daniel Yana is fighting to win the ball for the Jumbos. He had an interesting role in that Williams game, playing more off the left, but in this game, he appears to have resumed in his more normal central midfield role.
I like that role for him a lot better. I think he's better playing in between the lines as opposed to outs on the left or the right flank. I think he's very good at making direct runs instead of getting out wide and putting in a cross. I think it suits his style of play better, especially because he's a lot quicker than a lot of the other midfielders he's going to be up against.
And immediately Clivio shows his presence back. He loves those long balls, sending it forward toward Gherkin. Feinberg sends a long ball, this time out to Canfin on the wing.
Looked like Canfin tried to get a little fancy with it there and wasn't able to bring that ball down.
I think he might have lost it in the sun.
That also could be true.
It is a bright, hot day here in Medford, so the sun may play a larger role than normal. Canfin having a great game against Williams last week, scoring the winning goal in late time, about the 80th minute, and scoring a screamer from what I could recall. Great finish from him, giving the Jumbos the win over the Eefs out in Williamstown.
And as we mentioned in the introduction, it's unclear whether Jumbos are going to play with two defensive midfielders today. It looks like right now they are, as Liam Gherkin is falling pretty far back into midfield in possession.
Octozania Das drops it to Clivio. Takes it being pressured by Beschel.
Octozania Das as well, playing that more back defensive mid position. So likely at the moment we'll see him sit there as the Jumbos get a bit of an opportunity here.
Excellent combinations between Borgania loops it into the box, cleared away by the Colby defense. But that right side of Feigen and Borgania are a dangerous combo as Feigen lines up for the corner.
You know, I was curious. I was watching these, and they did manage to adjust fast enough, but I'd be curious if the Jumbos are able to capitalize on a flat back line today.
Feigen and Yana is lining up for the short corner, forcing two Colby players over to defend. That is Paez and Dolinko, for anyone wondering at home.
Notices
Giannis' ball in. Headed by Feinberg, but just wide. Good chance there for the Jumbos. Feinberg unmarked in the middle, getting a great header.
Yeah, it doesn't get much more clear of a chance than that. Unfortunately, Feinberg glances it just wide, but the Mules goalie, Brendan McCarthy, one of the more experienced members of this team, he's been rock solid for them for a few years now, so he's one to watch in net.
Notice as well, Gherkin played a little more into that corner as a back defenseman, and
Brady takes down Uku from behind there as the Jumbos put a very high press on Colby off the goal kick. Stewart starts the restart, back to Uku. Plays with the double pivot in front of him, but gives the ball away as the Jumbos get the ball in a chance, but Feigen collects the ball and gets the ball back to Bargania, switches out to Canfin. Canfin takes on his man, goes to the byline, crosses it in, saved by McCarthy. Sam's in the ball, hits it out to Wallach. That is Beschel on it. Sam's ball deflected by Gherkin. Artesanidas tries to pounce on it, but Colby regains possession. A lot of action on this right flank as the ball gets to Beschel in the midfield again.
Colby doing their best to just keep it moving around the back and put pressure on the Tufts 10s and 9s in order to just run after the ball. We'll see how that ends up later in the fitness today.
Collision there between Semez and Feinberg as the ball goes out for a Colby throw. Semez, a player that, as you mentioned, Nick, I believe Colby's going to be really trying to get him in this game. What can you say about him?
Say that again?
Semez, a very top player for the Mules. I believe on 3 goals already this season. Impressive player.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, Smos has 3 goals already and definitely is a player that Colby is going to want to get involved in this game. He's a solid striker. He's good in the volley too, so he definitely could have chances there.
It's important to point out that the Mules do not have a lot of scoring options, so he is pretty much their go-to guy. Last year, he was the joint top scorer with 6 goals, along with Nicholas Donnelly, who's come off the bench early this season instead of taking on a starting role, so he might be used later in a tight game. So Samos is kind of carrying the load in terms of goal scoring for the Mules.
Also notable to mention is Eduardo Cannavaro, one of the top players for the Mules last year, has transferred to Middlebury, Nescac foes, and alumni, alma mater, sorry, of Coach Desitel of the Jumbos. Yanez with the ball out wide, taking on his man, cuts toward the middle, and brings the ball back, switch out to Bargania. Big threat on this right side. He looks to send a ball in, cuts middle, takes a shot, and it goes wide for a goal kick. Second shot, sorry, for the Jumbos from Bargania there.
It's a nice drive in by Bargania. It looks like the Jumbos are doing a pretty good job of exploiting Jacob Sams over here on the left side. A lot more space on the left side of the Colby black line as opposed to the right. Yanez, I thought, just waited a little too long to play the ball to Bargania, but Bargania got his shot off in the end.
Well, nonetheless, I think, Yanez was definitely a little bottled in and boxed in there, and I think good knowledge to try and not force the game to happen, just recycle it, and then see what they can do on the other side of the field.
The Jumbo's really not letting Colby breathe at all this game, as well as every goal kick they're trying to play out the back. They're all, Brady, Feigen, Canfin all running at them. Herzani Das switches out to Bargania, who has space on the right side. Goes into Feigen and drops it back to Dr. Das. Jumbo's possessing the ball well, not forcing it, as you mentioned, Nick.
Look how high this line is. I mean, Feinberg and Clivio are basically playing a good 10 yards past midfield.
Clivio finds Brady, tries to flick on a Canfin, goes back to Brady. Finds Dr. Das in the middle, goes out for a goal kick. Well, unable to really get the contact he wanted there.
Yeah, chances aplenty so far. They're knocking on the door. Look like it'll come soon enough, especially with this press that Jumbos have. They're going to win the ball back pretty much as soon as it gets on the ground.
And the goal kicks have really been an area where Colby's been under immense pressure as Brady runs at Colby right away. Feigen pressuring Sam's on this right side. And the Jumbos win the ball back. Yanez at the top of the box. Finds it to Feigen out wide. Plays in the middle. Cleared out there by Stewart.
Yeah, and as we said, the Mules have no answer for this press right now. I mean, if I'm McCarthy in goal next time I get a goal kick, just boot it up the field. Honestly, that's your only chance of getting it out of your own half. Great movement right there for the Jumbos. And they earn a throw in over here on the right-hand side.
Bargania on the throw, known for those long throws. Can he create an opportunity here for the Jumbos? He's also got Dirk Gherkin at the drop. Winds up.
Yeah, and you can tell that Colby knows the long throw is coming. They move into almost a corner defense right away. Chaos in front of the box. No opportunity there for the Jumbos, though.
Looks like it's going to be a goal kick there after a pretty chaotic play in the box. Bargania unable to get it off of Sam's there to win the corner kick.
Yeah, Stewart and McCarthy have really been saving the Mules at the last second possible, and I still have no idea why they're trying to play out from the back like this. There's too much pressure as the Jumbos. Gherkin got a foot on the ball right there, so
I think perhaps some of it comes from the fact that they're a little less confident in their ability maybe for their strikers to win it on a back line against the Jumbos, because I think that's the position they do leave them in if the ball goes big.
An excellent tackle from Xavier Camfin wins the ball back to the Jumbos as Yanez has it in the left side. Pushing in, goes toward the byline. Pressured by several Mules, and they send it out for a throw for the Mules. Interesting.
yeah, I didn't quite see who it touched last, but Yanez is really lively at the start of this game so far, doing a great job cutting in from the left-hand side onto his right foot.
Not a surprise for the first team All-Region, second team All-NESCAC player. Really one of the standouts for the Jumbos last year.
Speaking of standouts, I mean, Nick Ontich was the NESCAC Goalkeeper of the week, and I don't think I've said his name once so far, 10 minutes in, but he is still there in the Jumbo's net.
That ball, unfortunately, a little bit too far wide for Bargania as the Mules will take a throw here with Sam's. Again, this left side of the Colby defense has really been under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with Bargania. You know, him and Owen Demby on the left are very different fullbacks. Bargania's a lot smaller, quicker. He's going to sort of attack the opposition left back a lot more than Demby is. So I think it's really causing problems for the Mules right now.
I also will point out the fact that the combination of Yanez, Brady, and Xavier Canfin is really causing problems for the Colby defense right now. They're putting pressure on, and they're cutting in on nearly every play, looking to either pick the ball off, steal the ball, get a foot on the ball.
Bargania with the long throws. You see Octrazani, Doss, and Clivio are up, going for the big throw.
It's like a jump ball. You got
Yep.
the centers out there.
Winds back up. Bargania's throw comes in toward Clivio, bounces around, and it's going to be cleared away by the Mules. Ball goes back in the box. Looks like it's going to end up for a goal kick, but another good chance off of Bargania's throw.
Yeah, and the Jumbos just fall victim to the turf right there. The ball jumps off the turf and too far out of the reach of the potential headers. But another great throw from Bargania. He's done a great job exploiting the left side of the Mules' defense so far.
And it's rare that I would say a goal kick is a good attacking opportunity for the Jumbos, but it really has been so far as McCarthy takes your advice. Max clears it away right to Daniel Yanez.
Yeah, I mean,
Yanez with the ball going into the box, cleared out there by Moretti.
Nick was saying, as you meant, a good point that potentially the Mules aren't confident in their strikers getting on the end of a goal kick, but I feel like at this point they're not going to touch it if it's on the ground, so you might as well try it and see what happens.
And they're sending Bargania all the way over to the opposite corner of the field because they clearly very much like his throwing prowess as they send another one into the box.
It's like the Doug Mirabelli, the knuckleball catcher of the soccer team right here, is Bargania being shifted way out of position.
Bargania's throw comes in toward Clivio, deflected by Brady. Brady hits it up to Canfin. Tries the volley, cleared away by Joseph. Back to Octrazani Doss. Canfin out wide. Ships it over toward Octrazani Doss. And cleared by Sams. First chance for Simoes to touch the ball in a very long time. Instantly smothered by the Jumbos as Gherkin gets the ball back.
Great work there by Gherkin and Yanez pressuring Simoes. They know who's the one person is on the Mules who can't touch the ball, and they made sure to take care of it.
Yeah, and you can tell right away Simoes goes back to that spot sitting in between the two center backs on the Tufts Jumbo squad. Clearly looking to just try and capitalize on those what little kids might call cherry pick opportunities, but he's definitely up there looking to just try and find a connection with the ball.
Colby not offering the same level of press the Jumbos were giving them.
You know, I will say in favor of this Colby team, though, they're not afraid to necessarily like play long games and then score later. In, for example, the University of Southern Maine game, they put 2 goals in the second half after a long first half of back and forth and pressure.
And kudos to Colby for sticking to their strategy and sort of not wanting to get tired out in the first half. The Jumbos want to score early.
Demi's ball into Feigen. Brady's got the ball. Cleared, unable to get good contact with it as the Mules escape another great chance for the Jumbos.
Yeah, and as I was saying, the Jumbos, it's easier to defend a lead if you're at home. So if they can score early, then that's what their goal is. But the Mules want to make sure they're rested for a second half on a hot day.
Yeah, I think as well in favor of the Jumbos right now. They're really focusing on shutting down the Mules in transition. As soon as the Mules have the ball, the shift is super, super fast and the pressure is super, super fast. And it means that the Mules looking to turn and do anything with the ball don't even have that second to assess where players are on the field.
Yanez with his second stab into a Colby player. This one taking down, that would be Paez, resulting in a free kick for the Mules, as Colby hopes to repossess and keep the ball for a bit longer without being smothered by this Jumbo press.
Mules choose to go backward with it. No surprises there. See if they can play out of the back. Unfortunately, that strategy hasn't seemed to work so far. Is it working right now, though?
Uku on the ball just found. It was Scott who was just taken down in the middle. Jumbo's hoping to break back, but well won back by Paez.
That's a great play from Paez. Stands tall, doesn't let the dribbler go past him. And now the Mules with a chance on the left side here to make something happen.
Paez still on the ball, finds Tabalik. Out to Uku.
That ball sent wide and out. And that is Jumbo's ball by the looks of things.
And they're going to stop the clock as the referee goes to speak with Charlie Scott. It will be a Jumbo throw over on the outside from Owen Denby.
Gives Colby really their first chance to keep the Jumbos in their own half and in that own, really, for the Colby, the final third. Colby does win a penalty there. Or not a penalty, but a foul, sorry. My apologies.
Clivio taking down the Mules player. And this will be a really good chance for Colby. Their first chance to really put some pressure on just Nick. You're talking about their shot-taking capabilities. Is this a chance where they can get the ball into the box to get a good shot off and really test the NESCAC player of the week?
I think likely, but also Max Clivio in the Bucks. You really never know if that team's going to get an opportunity.
Certainly some big players there. Mikey Brady and Octarzani Das, also large players. Ball hit in, cleared out by Xavier Campen, another tall player for the Jumbos, out for a corner kick for the Mules. Their first really stretch of play where they've had some chances.
Yeah, and look at Campen getting back there in his own box and making a great defensive play. Our esteemed soccer researcher Micah Baum pointed out that he's earned a starting spot to his work rate, and you can see it right there.
Ball played in for the Mules. Headed over, back toward the back post. That was Stewart hitting it back in, but it was going to be another corner for the Mules.
It was a really clever stretch of play, a flick header over the top of the players, and then a header back into the box. Fell just inside the 6-yard box and then fell just outside of it.
Every Jumbo in the box for this corner. And the Mules have loaded the back post up. Played short.
Yeah, and I think...
And Feigen unable to keep it in, but great defensive work from Ethan Feigen to cut off that short corner.
And I think, it's evidence that the Jumbos, while they're looking to score early, they're not being too hasty about it, because you might see another team leave maybe a striker or someone else outside of the box to capitalize on potential transition moments. Jumbos choose not to do that and are now getting their
transition. Brady with the ball. Sends out to Yanez. Feigen, Brady, and Camp in the middle. Yanez driving in to the byline. Tries to play it across, but excellent defense from Moretti there, the senior captain. Out to Octarzani Das. Switches it over toward Bargania. Bargania takes on his man. Beats him. Sends the ball in. And headed clear by Moretti again. An excellent performance from the senior fullback as the Mules look to break. Samuez played through. Feinberg slows it down.
Yeah, Moretti on that right-hand side has been outstanding when it matters most for the Mules, laying in to make some perfectly timed tackles.
Bargania plays Gherkin through. Sends the ball in. And Campin's shot saved by McCarthy. An incredible close range save from the Colby keeper.
What a save from Brendan McCarthy right there. That's pure reflex. The ball's coming at you very fast. Just got to stretch out and hope for the best, and he did just that.
Great chance at creation there from Liam Gherkin playing the ball in as the Mules try to escape. It's going to be a Jumbo's throw. Bargania understandably steps up as Henry Perkins will check in for the Jumbos. Mikey Brady stepping off. Perkins, another top attacker for the Jumbos. A lot of good minutes last year, including some clutch goals in NESCAC playoffs against Bowdoin. Bargania's throw. Clivio and Octazani Das in the box. Toward Feinberg. Cleared out by Sams.
Saw Perkins there try and play a wraparound on the box.
Giannis with a long distance shot. Unable to test McCarthy there. Yana is a player who is not afraid to take those shots. He had the highest shot total for the Jumbos last year with 42. Unsurprising that he is taking another shot. As the Mules try to play out from the back with a little bit more success this time. They find Beschel in the middle, pressured by 3 Jumbos. And the Jumbos go away with the ball. Gherkin out to Feigen. Plays it through to Perkins, but unable to get there. Ball bouncing around a lot as Gherkin and Feigen masterfully maintain control of the ball.
Ethan Jett about to check in for Xavier Canfin as well. Ethan playing more of a forward position instead of that fullback position.
Feigen out to Bargania. Back to Gherkin. Good stretch of possession here for the Jumbos as they really held on to the ball effectively. Trying to switch it out to the other side. Clivio on the ball. Clivio's ball to Perkins. Out to Denby out on the left side. And he was offside. The Jumbos not immune to those offsides. They actually had the most offsides in conference play in the NESCAC out of any of the schools. So first offside today. Expect to see several more as Denby pushes up very high on that left side.
On the bright side, a lot of offsides means you're in the attacking third a lot of the time. So I guess to put a positive spin on it, so to speak.
Yeah, I think you're right about that one for sure. I think they're definitely putting the pressure on and seeing what they can put into the back of this net.
Stewart switches up to Sams. Looks for the long ball toward Semez. Feinberg heads it back to Ontic. And Semez unable to get there.
Great job by Feinberg, reading the ball off the bounce and getting it right back to Ontic. I don't know why Semez is the only guy up there, especially once the ball gets in the air. So it looks like he needs more help at the top of the Colby line if they're going to play in transition and try to nick a goal when the Jumbos are trying to retreat.
Especially against center backs, the quality that Feinberg and Clivio have.
Colby player down. Colby plays anyway. Big shot sent over, but Colby will get the ball here.
Scott taking the shot there from far out. Colby not afraid to take those long shots. Scott yet to get on the scoreboard this season, but has recorded 2 assists. A player listed as a defender, but has really been playing more of a midfield role today.
Lied about that one. It will be the Jumbos ball.
Yeah, Campin checks off after a pretty successful start today. Got a great shot on target, but McCarthy made an excellent save to keep this game scoreless. The Jumbos pass around the back. Clivio again. Plays a long ball toward Ethan Jett, but it's going to go into the homecoming crowd.
Yeah, and we mentioned the rust showing a little bit right there on Max Clivio. Normally he's so precise with those long balls, but a packed house here at Bello, and somebody walks home a winner, I guess, for a ball.
Dabu put the ball through there from the Mules, checking on here for Sams in this left back spot. As we see Beschel running at it, but Feinberg steps in excellently to clear the ball out. Plays the ball through to Perkins. Stewart playing good defense on him. Perkins pinched by Dabu and Stewart. A lot of physicality there, but no foul for either side as the ball switched toward Jet.
You could definitely tell
Play the
Perkins
balls
was
out
looking
to the-
for it a little bit.
Plays the ball out toward Denby. Denby cutting in, takes the shot. Saved by McCarthy.
You know, why not? If you're Owen Demney, you've got enough space. Why not take a shot and see what happens? But great job by Perkins. We saw it right in front of us on the sideline. Did a great job sticking with that ball, getting down dirty.
Brendan McCarthy as well, shout out. Obviously, we've already seen a couple of very good saves in this matchup. He, coming into this game, had 6 saves this season with a 600% save percentage.
Calm down slightly for the Mules as they're able to play out the back with a little bit less pressure on them. Ball played. Feinberg clears it out. Semez wanting a foul, but not awarded. The foul given there, though, as Attribution Das takes down, that would be Scott in the middle. We see 2 jumbos ready to check in, and that is Mason Schultz and Ellis Denby. Beshel plays well with Wallach. Plays it in. Free header for Semez, but incredible save from Nick Ontich. Not sure how Semez got wide open in the middle there, but Ontich able to recover for the Jumbos.
Yeah, I think that, that's something that I mentioned, obviously, before this game. Waiting to see Samoas sit there, try and capitalize on the opportunity. And in that one, he found it. He was in the right spot. Nick Antich decided, no, sir, I'm going to keep my slate clean this season.
Feinberg's ball intercepted by Scott in the middle. Dummy from Beshel, but Wallach unable to get on it. Bargania passes out with Gherkin. Switches all the way toward Ethan Jett. Excellent ball there. Jett takes on his man out wide. Beats him and goes down. No penalty given as Jett gets right back up and keeps going. Gotta love to see the resilience.
Yeah, I also think, that's maybe the resilience of a fullback there, someone who knows they're probably going to get fouled, especially by strikers looking for the net. And so in that case, Ethan able to just quickly get up and keep playing, doesn't necessarily lay on the ground or look for the foul.
For those seeing the replay of that there, a little bit of contact there between Moretti and Jett, but I think not enough contact for the ref to give it. That is Mason Schultz taking the throw in out there. Bargania not forced to run all the way across the field, but his long throw goes in toward Clivio. Cleared out successfully by Dabu. Jett taking a long range shot. And it is going to be a goal kick. A little bit too high there. The Mules look to play out the back yet again. They have had less pressure on them, but here the pressure comes right back out as Schultz and Perkins run right at the Mules line. Schultz winning it back here. Nope. Mules able to keep it alive. Uku driving with the ball. Hazel plays a deep ball toward Scott. Scott tries to win it, but well played there from Bargania. Finds Schultz out wide. One back by the Mules, and it's going to be a throw-in for the Jumbos.
Mitch, it's 100% penalty. Dushan, it's 100% penalty. We're watching it. He's not going to change it. He's not.
Luke Randolph and Will Kogelman set to check in for each side. Bargania taking the free kick. Sends it up toward Perkins. One on the header from Stewart. And another foul for the Jumbos. Bargania likely to step up yet again and to send the ball into the box to the Jumbos.
Wallach seems to disagree, of course, but nonetheless foul called.
They're going to take the short kick this time. Octazani Das to Gherkin.
Bargania now.
Back to Gherkin. Denby's switch out toward Jett. Well received by Jett.
What a touch.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a big ball and Jett confident first touch.
Creatively getting through his man. Still going, but shut off by Paez. Back to Moretti. Moretti's clearance to Semez, but with Clivio right on his back. Clivio's still fighting and commits the foul there on Beschel.
Notice as well, Clivio there initially when he was putting pressure on him, had his hands up necessarily by his shoulders to prove he's not pushing him, he's just playing with his body. And then, of course, does foul him anyway, but
Pies his ball deep toward Wallach. Received by Antich, though. Antich really been tested once so far this game, but man, was he tested by that header from Semez. But really held up strong, keeping the Jumbos and keeping his stat sheet empty with 0 goals given up this season for the NESCAC Player of the Week.
I mean, that's the life of a goalkeeper. You could have nothing to do most of a game, and then all it takes is one. So good for Antich rising to the occasion. As he puts one long here, looks like Perkins got a touch.
Perkins putting good pressure on, wins the ball back with his jersey being fully tugged. Penalty called there, as it should be. Free kick here for the Jumbos. All right, and Gherkin lining up over the kick. We see Atrazani Das moving up. Clivio staying back, so unlikely to be set too far into the box. Gherkin to Denby. Back to Gherkin. There's 2 Denbys on the pitch right now. Ellis Denby on the ball right now. His brother Owen out on the left back. Out to Schultz. Little miscommunication there as Bargania was further behind him than he realized.
Yeah, it looks like Bargania's getting a little tired here. I mean, he's very sweating a lot right now in the hot day, and
I think some of that is water he's dumped on himself as well.
that is true.
that's true. But in any case, normally, 20 minutes ago, he makes that run with ease, gets on the end of that pass. Right now, as we approach the half, he doesn't have the energy for it.
Something I did think about as we saw a lot of those Jumbo players really putting the pressure super hard onto Colby right at the beginning of the game, those strikers running around a lot. Was that going to come back and cost them later in this half? The answer is they've needed substitutions fast.
Schultz taking on his man here. It gets taken down. Clear foul there for the Jumbos.
Yeah, no argument there from either side. Schultz clearly got tripped up. And as you said, Nick, Jumbo's going with a lot of turnover here as the first half winds down. But so far, those substitutions, such as Mason Schultz, have been pretty effective in keeping the ball in the Mules half, making sure that Jumbo stay on the front foot.
This will be Luke Randolph, the junior, standing over the kick alongside Ellis Denby.
Suppose offense standing on the, I suppose, back post, or a lot of them looking to run onto that ball or run into that ball.
It's a great chance here for the Jumbos as Randolph seems to be lining up to take it. It's going to be Ellis Denby, actually. Sends it in and cleared out by Moretti. It's going to be a Jumbo's long throw-in.
It was a good set piece there from Ellis Denby, and it shows a lot of confidence from Coach Desatel that as a freshman, just 3 games into his collegiate career, Denby's taking free kicks.
James Gunn going to sub out here for Feinberg. We can see him pointing Octarzani Doss back to the back line. So it looks like Gunn will move into that 6 role with Octarzani Doss going alongside Clivio in the center back spot. Schultz standing over the throw. Sends it in toward Octarzani Doss, but cleared out by the Mules. But right back to Schultz. Sends it back in. Octarzani Doss on the ball. And he scores! A bit of confusion there as it could have been an own goal or a goal from Octarzani Das, but excellently taken, really taking advantage of the chaos in the box, sending it toward the goal, and runs toward that homecoming crowd.
And you just mentioned that Octarzani Das was going to slide back into a center back role, but no center back play right there. He's in the box. He's on the end of a loose ball, gets a lucky flick. I don't know who it touched last, but the Jumbos do not really care as they jump into the stands in celebration. They lead 1-0 here with 13 minutes to go in the half.
Got to give some credit to Mason Schultz there as well from the throw and then getting the ball again, setting it back in.
I will say the Colby Mules there, one of the Mules did, I think, try and, jump and pull that ball out of the net with his foot and might have honestly sent it further into the net. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think that ball was heading toward the net.
I think it was too.
But you feel the Jumbos have been aptly rewarded for their intense pressure throughout this game, finally getting the ball to land in the net on sort of an unorthodox goal, but a goal counts the same either way.
Yeah, I think for the Jumbos, they're going to look to take it however they can, and if they make a career this season out of like set pieces and corners and stuff like that and not goals in the run of the play, they're going to be happy with that too.
That goal was recorded as an own goal from the Mules. But Octozani Das, a large part of that ball getting in the net, he will be very happy even if he doesn't have that recorded on the stat sheet for him.
I mean,
See a replay of it right now as we can see. Never mind. Ontic back in goal, sending this one up.
if I'm Bijan, I want VAR to take a look at that. That's my goal. Unfortunately, the NESCAC does not have the budget for VAR.
But James Flagg there ready to check in for the Jumbos. Ball played up toward Perkins, who jumped very early. And the Jumbo is still able to win it back. That was Ellis Denby. Jet taking on his man out on the sideline.
Substitution.
Able to
Here.
drop it to Gunn. Switches out to Bargania. Bargania's ball in and cleared out by Stewart.
Substitution will be flagged for Bargagna. When
Semez breaking away. He's got Traore running with him. And it will be Jumbo ball.
you know, those were some of the players in the Colby side that I expected to be active in this game. Traore, Samoes, or even, for example, right now, standing in that left striker role is Will Kogelman, a freshman forward. You know, I think we're likely to see Colby do their best to basically throw the kitchen sink at Nick Antich, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you mentioned Traore. He's one of 4 seniors on the Mules team. The Jumbos have 4 graduate students, so I think the inexperience versus experience factor is really starting to show through.
Scored by number 11, Mason Schultz.
The goal actually was credited to Mason Schultz, which we could hear some disbelief from the Jumbo's bench about that one, as I don't think he had to touch the ball last, but it will be awarded to him.
If it helps you guys up there, I got it to Colby.
A shot from our own player that just got deflected.
I saw it on the replay as a Colby guy trying to clear it, and he cleared it straight to the net.
Moretti's drop back to Stewart.
Nonetheless, on who scored the goal, I think the Jumbos will be happy to go up 1-0 in the first half at home on homecoming day.
Plays the ball towards the goal there. Good pressure, Blue. Well done. That doesn't come out.
Foul against the Jumbos there. Obviously, the bench not happy. Or not necessarily the bench, the stands not happy.
Yeah, right in front of this large homecoming crowd today. As for those curious about the other matches we've got, football taking on Bowdoin tonight at 6 p.m. So right after you finish watching this game, if you want to check out the homecoming game, we will have a great broadcast on for that as well. Octozani Das heads it out of bounds. Mules throw. Dabu on the throw.
Other Jumbos games that happened today. Field hockey took on Colby College, knocked them down 6-2. And then Tufts women's soccer played as well. And I believe took a win, if I'm not wrong.
It was a
3-0.
3-0 victory against the Colby Mules as well. So very familiar opposition today. Octozani Das sends it out, not as far as Stewart, but Perkins able to get on it. Moretti calmly takes it up, the captain. Dabu on the ball, plays it in towards Semez. Clivio takes care of it, but Traore has it.
Had a spontaneous burst of music here.
Yeah, I got a little
And
dance
it's gone.
party partway through the game. Perkins sends up to Jet, who gets fully grabbed by Moretti. That's got to be a foul, but he's still going. Jet with the ball.
Ethan Jett determined.
Keeps going toward the byline, sends it in, and saved by McCarthy. Just a little bit too far in front of Randolph there.
It was a phenomenal slide.
Bob towards Semez,
It's fast, knocked down.
but Clivio able to head it.
Doesn't get it.
Not enough contact there for that to be a foul, but great job by Ethan Jett. Moretti had him, pulling him back. I mean, it was probably a foul. I see why the refs played advantage, but good job on Ethan Jett staying with the ball.
Scoring correction. Tufts University goal scored by number 30. Dijon actors on the dots. Assisted by number 11. Mason Schultz.
The goal has now been corrected, given to Octors on the Dost, thanks to our soccer chair, Micah Baum, for providing that information. As Schultz had the assist on that, not the goal itself.
Yeah, I think Bijan will be super happy with that one, and obviously happy to add to his own tally and his account for the season. I do believe that's an account opener, if I'm not wrong, for Bijan.
He had 2 goals last season, but this is his first goal of
Well,
the
yeah,
season. if
he's an
I'm
account
correct.
opener, yeah.
Yes. As we see for the Jumbos, ready to come in is Ben Brown and Will Nicholas. Jumbo's taking the ball up here with Randolph, but cut out by Dabu as the ball was heading towards Schultz.
Yeah, that's decent defense out of that left fullback there. He was ready to cut that ball off, saw the passing lane coming, and did just enough to step into it and knock it in the wrong direction for the Jumbos.
Campbell's throw up toward Ben Brown, headed back up by Schultz. Ball drops back to Gibson Campbell, who takes down Traore sort of accidentally from behind there, but ball here for Colby.
Yeah, it's an accidental trip, but it's contact nonetheless. Perkins and Ethan Jett just came off. I thought both of them did an outstanding job here in the first half. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jett come in at fullback next time out, proving his
Versatility.
Versatility,
Yeah,
wow.
word there.
That was a tough one right there.
I think you're right on that. I think I wouldn't be shocked if we saw Ethan come back into this game later. I also think that the Jumbos are putting on a pretty solid performance right now in front of this home crowd, seeming to definitely control this game and shut down Mule offense to the best of their ability, minus a few other chances.
Moretti pressured by Brown, but manages to get it out toward Stewart.
And you can tell that the Jumbos are definitely utilizing that pressure off the strikers to just press that Mule back line and just try and keep them moving, maybe force them to make a mistake.
Atrazani Doss able to cut out the through ball toward Traore. As we see Colin Leon of the Mules checking in now. That is Charlie Scott stepping off, having had a pretty successful stretch there as the midfielder.
5:26 left
running.
in the half.
Scott running back across the pitch as he is not going to check out on that side. He's going to check out on this side.
You know, Scott's listed as a defender, but he was playing a lot further forward than that. He had a long distance shot a few minutes ago. I think he did a good job progressing the ball for a Mules team that hasn't been their strong suit today.
Yeah, definitely one of the stronger players the Mules so far today. Schultz with the ball with space. Brown in front of him sends it out wide toward Randolph. Randolph sends it in, but cleared out. Correction there. That was Nicholas, not Randolph. All right. And Anthony Bangdea checking in for Mason Schultz, who had the assist on the goal earlier. Out on that right wing. Ben Brown prepared to take a very long throw. Bargani may be off, but Brown has an equally powerful throw.
Yeah, you know, having one long throw or a player that can do it is such a blessing. Having two that can do it is even more of that.
Almost a spoil of riches for the Jumbos.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Desitel, anytime the Jumbos get into that final third, really try and capitalize on it and turn every throw into basically a corner.
Ben Brown just tried to open the gate to the field to get a run up. I think the ref kind of disapproved of that.
Brown's throw toward Clivio. Headed too far for the Jumbos. But yes, Max, as you were saying, Ben Brown did open the gate trying to do a very long run up, but a referee not going to allow him to leave the pitch.
You know, always entertaining to see the players who can just essentially run up and throw it. I know other players have done the whole handstand strategy or the handspring strategy, and they use that momentum to send it really far.
For a player of Ben Brown's stature, I'd be very impressed if he could pull off a handstand. That would be, yeah, that would be incredible.
I mean, really, like, if you can do a handspring and then throw the ball,
It would be. I'm still waiting to see one of those, but if we can see one, I would love that.
I would be thrilled.
Brown back to the throwing line again. Not going to do a handspring, but sure, a very long, powerful throw.
I think there's an opening as throw-in coach for you, Nick. I think the team is hiring.
Well-
Brown's throw in toward flag, but ball cleared out again for another throw in.
Ironically, there was a player on my high school team who had a long throw, and we utilized it every chance he got. He ran across every side of the field to throw it.
Ben Brown to throw yet again, setting it in for essentially a corner kick for the Jumbos. Clivio up, Bangdia up, lots of players in the box. Toward Clivio, but cleared out by Stewart. Stewart's been excellent in the box, clearing out attacks for the Jumbos. Sent back in, but it's going to go right to McCarthy.
Yeah, I will say in favor of the Mules, they've had really a couple of players in that back line keep this score at 1-0 and not more than that. Bangdia there wins the ball.
Great job by Bongdia. Just came in and took it right away from Kogelman. Not much of a contest.
Brown trying to take on Stewart. Stewart wins the ball back in the corner. Brown wins it right back, though. Out to Bongdia. Sends in the middle. Good defense there from Moretti to stop that chance. But some great persistence there from Ben Brown, fighting against Stewart, arguably the best defender on this Mules side, and able to get past him, to get the ball into Bongdia, and eventually win a corner kick.
It
Got
was
about
a real corner, not a throw-in.
True.
To clarify.
Very true. The very similar results on both for the Jumbos. As we see both Randolph and Denby there on the corner. And Nicholas at the top of the box, another option for the Jumbos if they choose to go short. They are going to send it in toward the back post. It was Brown, ball bouncing around, flag on it, and cleared out by the Jumbos.
You know, it does seem that the Jumbos are a little less organized in the box. They don't seem to be really running, to be fully honest, any specific movement or set piece in the box on the corners. Just simply more trying to create chaos and capitalize on whoever's head can get onto it.
Just to illustrate that point, Ben Brown and James Flagg were defending each other for a header. Ball out to Dabu. Plays it through to Simez. Hits off his shoulder. He turns in, being held back to Donnie Doss, but keeps going.
Somehow
and
it's
Clivio,
well marked.
Gunn there, wins the ball back. Sends out to Nicholas. Plays it to Randolph. With 30 seconds left, sends out to Bongdia. Beats his man, but gets tripped by the opponent's face, it appeared. And the advantage comes back. The Jumbo is getting the last chance of the half. They're going to have to take it quickly, though, as 20 seconds left.
Bongdia looked like Iverson over Tyronn Lue right there, jumping right over his opponent.
The Jumbo's with
15 on the clock. They got to move.
Yeah, they can't take long to set up here as Denby's standing over the kick.
Somebody's got to take it.
Denby's ball in and cleared out, as always, by Stewart. The Mules able to escape that chance as we go into the half. 1-0 for the Jumbos. A goal from Bijan Akhtarzani Das, the difference between the two on homecoming. We will be back in a few minutes for the second half. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to JumboCast. We are here ready to take on the second half of this NESCAC battle on homecoming day between the Tufts Jumbos and the Colby Mules. My name is Jake Flossie. I am joined now by Armand Kassam, ready to take on this second half. Armand, what did you notice in that first half?
Yeah, thanks, Jake. Happy to be here. It's been a great first half so far. Definitely some back and forth. But one thing that Nick had mentioned from the beginning is that Colby does play a very offensive, volume shot type of game. One thing that we've noticed here is they're playing a little bit more defensively, and we've seen that throughout the season where depending on their opposition, they tend to play a little bit more offensive, a little bit more defensive. A stronger team like Bowdoin, they did kind of hold a little bit more, take around 7 shots rather than their average of around 15, 16 against other opposition. So today we've seen them play a little bit more defensive, try to play that low block, and take advantage of the counterattack.
And it's interesting they only had 7 shots against Bowdoin, considering that they scored the same amount of goals against Bowdoin, against Thomas, and against Southern Maid, 2 goals in each game. So even though they had less shots, they were able to still record the same number of goals. So while they may have had a lower volume attack, they still were able to get those final touches in.
And a lot of that is due to the magic of Simos. We know that he is a great finisher. We know that he's the main driver of this offense. And this year, he's almost shooting at a 50% rate. Half of those shots he's putting on net are going in the net. So that's a really big part of that offense there.
Alongside that, he is averaging a goal a game at this point, which is just a absurd stat. And while it is early in the season, it's still a mark of a very talented player. And the question is, can he continue at this game? He had one very good chance on the header, but Antich able to shut it down. He will kick us off in this half in a second or two. So we get ready to watch the second part of this NESCAC battle.
And we'll see if the Mules here try to push a little bit harder and try to get some more offensive chances.
And here we go. Simos drops it back to Scott there. Sends it out wide to Dabu. Wallach with it. Back to Dabu. Out to Stewart.
Tufts here being a little bit more cautious. Very content to sit on their 1-0 lead. Not necessarily keeping up that high press they were focusing on before.
And you do sometimes see that shift a little bit as, like, on the kickoff, maybe they press a little bit less, but then maybe off those goal kicks, which we saw so much pressure on earlier in the game, they will do the same thing. Interesting look for the Jumbos as Xavier Camfin has moved into the middle, and Ethan Jett starting out on the right, Ethan Feigen on the left. Artazani Das staying in the center back spot alongside Clivio. And Clivio there commits a foul against Semez, trying to cut in front of him, but unable to win the ball cleanly.
It has been a pretty physical game, and that's something you tend to expect when you got 2 of the top 5 most physical teams in NESCAC here.
Very true. Also to note, James Gunn has remained on the pitch alongside Feigen, alongside Yanez and Gherkin in the middle. Camfin there finds out to Jet. Back to Camfin. Driving up the pitch, taking on Stewart. Camfin able to get past him, but not quite around him as Stewart wins the ball.
And as much as we're saying that the Jumbos are happy to sit back on their lead, the fact that they've put out Canfin and Yanez again definitely shows that they're looking for some more offense as well. Because, of course, staying up at 1-0 is not the easiest thing in the world.
And we know NESCAC play is brutal, and you never know what's going to happen. So you can't sit on a 1-0 lead against a team, any team in the NESCAC, really. Clivio on the ball, pressured by Semez. Clivio just going to send it out of bounds. The good old when in doubt, get it out strategy.
Definitely always good to be safe.
Paez on the throw. Out to Scott. Feigen does well to win a throw for the Jumbos. We see Owen Denby on the throw.
Maybe he'll do a handspring.
That would be impressive. Paez on the ball. Makes it around Feigen, but not past Denby. Ready, sends it back in. Adrozani Das gets around the ball and sends it up. Cleared by Stewart. Been one of the top players in the Mules today. But Gunn able to win the ball back out. Sends out to Jet.
And Jet's played a very interesting role today, usually playing on that back line, but today he's been more of a striker, or sorry, a forward, and it's worked very well for the team.
And that's a shift he's made more over this season. He played as a winger against MIT earlier this season and back out on the wing today. Definitely a shift from his freshman year, though. Bargania's ball in, cut off by Moretti. Back to Gunn. The Jumbos calm down. Denby sends it out wide toward Feigen. Feigen play on this left side now. Feigen drives in, it goes down, but no penalty given.
What we did see there from the Jumbos, though, was some great patience setting up that play. We saw earlier in the first half that they weren't really rushing those offensive chances, and that got them a lot of pressure and really got them past that back line of Colby College there.
Attribution Das pressured, but sends it out to Clivio. Flicked on by Gherkin. Paez sends it away. An interesting choice by Coach Cumpstone of the Mules, having Paez play as this right back, but inverting when they have possession. He plays more of the central mid spot. So an interesting strategy that we have seen across the world, and Cumpstone having some experience across the world, having played in the top flight in Hungary for Ferencváros. He is currently in his first year coaching at Colby after being an associate head coach at Wesleyan for a few years before this. So familiar with NASCAR play, but getting his first real taste as a head coach.
I'm sure Colby appreciates having that experience, as the brains behind their operation here.
And that's going to be a foul there from Gunn. Simez taken down again.
We know how dangerous Semez is, so sometimes the safest thing to do is to just take him down.
Very true. The Mules move back toward Stewart on the ball. Moretti. Forward towards Scott, but cleared by Clivio. And Feigen able to get the ball. Looks like it hit off of Feigen. It's going to be the final call there from the ref as we saw Delinko come over to get the ball. Paez on throw. Paez sends it up towards Semez. And Gherkin's going to send it out.
Jumbo's defense giving them no space to breathe, and it's been a kind of a pattern here on the side of the field. All those throws go right out.
Yana is fighting through several players, but unable to keep the ball, but it will go off of the Mules with the Jumbos going forward. He was fighting against Beschel there, and well, Beschel won the ball. Yana has won the battle, keeping the ball for the Jumbos. Feigen dribbling in. Gherkin going to switch it to Bargania. Pressured by Wallach, but he makes it around him. Out to Jet. Bargania dribbling in. Beats several guys and goes down. A referee does not call that.
We've really seen Bargania's presence throughout this game. We saw in the beginning when he was first playing for the first few minutes, just cutting through that defense, and again doing it here. Obviously, it's a tiring way to play, but he's really just been able to decompose that back line of Colby College.
A really powerful weapon for the Jumbos. He actually had an assist in the last match that they played last season, which ended in a 3-2 Jumbos win out in Waterville. And I'm actually surprised he hasn't had an assist so far this game with how dangerous he's looked from that right back spot.
He's definitely created a ton of chances.
Ball it to Wallach. Sends it through to Beschel. He's taken down, but physicality increases as Gherkin there taken down. Midfield from both sides taken down, but that foul was actually a foul on Gherkin.
A little bit of fancy work attempted there by Gherkin. Didn't quite work out, but it was the right idea.
Gherkin sends it over to Clivio. Referee's going to send it back, saying the kick was not that far forward. Gherkin's kick goes to Gunn now. Out to Clivio. The first team All-American is known for being able to play those long balls in. This time, though, just choosing to drop Doctors on Nidas. Bargani on it now. Fighting against Wallach. Still being pressured. Got it right back to Clivio. Clivio finds Giannis. Feigen makes a run deep. Giannis chooses to find Denby instead. Out to Feigen. Clivio switches out to Bargania.
I mean, the Jumbos are very content to keep passing it around on their offensive side here. The more possession they have, the better. As long as Colby doesn't have the ball, they can't score. So keeping it game going like this, keeping Colby running, this is the game they want to play for the next 35 minutes or so here.
Very true. The Jumbos playing a very high line. As we can see Adrazandi and Clivio both inside the Jumbos half of the field. But Colby doesn't seem to be testing that as all, as Simez is playing pretty far back as well.
Interesting change in strategy we've seen there from the beginning as he's, trying to chip in a little bit more on defense than he was, where, as Nick mentioned, a little bit of cherry picking we saw in the beginning.
That's going to be a foul there on Ethan Feigen against Delinko. Delinko going to stand over the ball. Yana is putting a lot of pressure on him.
We'll see here if Colby finally getting some possession can, maintain possession and possibly get a chance here. They've been struggling to keep the ball for this half here.
It's going to go out for a corner for the Jumbos. Apologies, that is for the Mules. The teams have switched sides. Wallach standing over it.
This is such an important corner for the Mules here. If they can get something, or at least some momentum off this set piece here, that could turn the tides of this game.
And Armand, if we remember, on one of their earlier corners, they had a nice little flick toward the back post, headed it back in, got a good chance out of it. So they're clearly very adept at making chances out of corners. Wallach's ball in toward Moretti, but right back out to Wallach. Delinko's cross, headed, and it is just wide there from Charlie Scott. But a good chance for the Mules. They're able to finally get some pressure on in this attacking second half.
These corners here have been very, very important for the Mules. The main chances they've gotten have been off the corners, so the Jumbos have to be, a little bit more careful there, try not to give any of those up.
Jumbo's doing a very different strategy than the Mules, choosing to have on-touch send the ball forward, while the Mules seem very content with playing out of the back on the goal kicks. Mules have had more success on that in the second half than they had in the first half, but still an interesting strategy.
And the Jumbos do have that size that makes this play possible as well.
Certainly. Scott and Beschel, though, are not small players, but Denby able to win the ball there. Sends out to Gherkin, back to Clivio, and then Jumbos can reset their possession. Jumbos, interestingly, have had their center midfielders play very far out wide. As we see Gherkin here, basically out on the left wing. We saw Giannis do similar in the first half. Excellent tiki-taka play from the Jumbos. Gherkin just smothered there from the Mules.
Something they've changed up a little bit here is instead of going for more of those long balls,
Beschel's ball in, cleared away by Akrazani Das.
They're going instead for that tiki-taka type play, short passes, those guaranteed type looks where you're not taking too much of a risk.
Feigen being fouled there, but Giannis continuing to play, so the ref gives the advantage. Ball through Canfin, plays across the middle toward Feigen, but cleared out by the Mules. Excellent defensive work there by Dabu.
That back line has made some incredible last-minute saves there, just stopping those balls to the middle, and especially Alex Moretti, who we know is a big-time player for this Colby College team, played the full 90 against Bowdoin just last week, so he's definitely an impact player for them. But as we've seen here, other players like Dabu are willing to step up into those big moments too.
Dabu did not start this game. Sam's did it instead, but Dabu's really made that left side his own. After subbing on, he has not come off, including at the second half, and really brought some more stability to that left side.
Stay up safe. One side. Win it here. Win it here. Time.
Excellent play there from Beschel to keep the ball. Finds Paez in the middle. Paez beats Yanez and sends it out to Wallach. Cleared by Gunn. And the Jumbos are taking possession of the ball. Goes out to Jet.
Some great work there by Paez to try to get the ball up, but he just did not have the support he was looking for there.
Ethan Jett with the ball out on the right back side. 1-2 doesn't quite work out with Gherkin as it goes for a Mules throw. Jumbo is prepared to send Mason Schultz and Luke Randolph on. Schultz having the assist on the goal.
I'm sure Coach Desatel here hoping to get maybe an assist, maybe another goal from the offensive production that Mason Schultz has had today.
And one thing that was a big question mark for the Jumbos coming into the season is who's going to replicate the success of Sean Trainer out on the right side. And players like Jet, Schultz, Canfin all getting chances to really have that opportunity.
So hard to replace a guy like Trainer, but, they're really doing their best. And, we'll see if someone like Canfin, who did have a very strong game just last week, scoring that late game winner, like you mentioned earlier, Jake, can step into that role.
It's going to be a Mules throw out there as that is Stewart on the ball right now. Sends out to Moretti. Canfin putting more pressure on. You can hear the coaching staff sending the team forward.
Like you mentioned, Jake, that change of strategy.
Ball through towards Semez. Semez on the ball. Turns a shot, but received by Ontich.
And that's just good defense there, maintaining your line, maintaining your positioning. Even against a player as threatening as Semez, you just can't change up your game. And they just gave him no space there to shoot.
And it's really hard to shoot when your back's toward goal like Semez had that time, unable to get fully around the ball, able to get a good shot off to test a keeper of the caliber that Nikola Ontich has. The transfer from Northeastern coming into last year really made that starting spot his own.
Especially this year with that clean sheet, you're going to need quite the screamer to beat him, I'd say.
Obviously, this is different than you. That's where we're going.
He's going to play it out toward Yanez. Feigen dribbling into the box, taken down, and that will be a penalty for the Jumbos. Excellent work from Ethan Feigen there.
That is a huge, huge foul for the Jumbos here. Taking that 2-0 lead with just half an hour left would be massive. And of course, like we mentioned before, of course, having a lead is nice. Having a bigger lead is even better.
And the Jumbos will have a penalty here. The question of who will be taking it will come up. It looks like it will be Daniel Yanez. Scored a penalty last season against Emerson on senior day to win the game, also on his birthday. So
Yanez has that finishing touch for sure.
He's the one standing in the middle, and it looks like it will be him taking it. He is yet to record a goal this season, but was one of the most productive Jumbos last season, including a screamer against Middlebury in the NESCAC playoffs to send them into the NESCAC final against Amherst. He will step up from the spot. Yanez versus McCarthy. Waiting a long time to take his shot. The run up and finish by Yanez. Bottom left. McCarthy dives the right way, but unable to save a shot with the power that Daniel Yanez put on it. Goal for the Jumbos.
And Daniel Yanez is no stranger to high pressure moments. We know that he had 3 game-winning goals last year, and he's a guy who's able to step up to that moment and take that shot and score that goal. Going into the left corner, that's a tight shot to make. And like you said, the goalie dived the right way, but he had it just in the right spot. That's an impossible save for almost any keeper.
And the Jumbo side will take a deep breath as a 2-goal lead is a lot easier to defend than a 1-goal lead.
It's exactly the start to the half they were looking for.
Jumbo's subbing off, and now as we see Mason Schultz, Luke Randolph, and Ben Penske check on. Penske, a staple of the Jumbos team last year. Not had many minutes today, but a very important player for the Jumbos. Yanez getting high fives from the team after that excellently taken penalty kick.
Isn't that a way to start off your score sheet for the year?
And Colby looks to respond. Aku on the ball right now. Clear back to Sonny Doss over the stands.
Speaking of Aku, he's had an impressive year this year. Although he is a freshman, he has played some of the most minutes on this team. In fact, leading the entire midfield of the Mules in minutes played. He's been a great player for them this year.
And that is one area where the Jumbos struggled with a little bit more last year was in integrating their freshman players. We see Octazani Das first year last year, he's a sophomore this year, and he's clearly very well integrated in the squad. Xavier Camphor and Ethan Jett now more integrated in the squad as well, but it's always good to see some first years get out early.
100%.
Mikey Brady checking in for the Jumbos shortly. It looked like it might have been a handball there from Luke Randolph playing the ball, but Semez through. He's not going to be Max Clivio, though. The All-American defender shuts down Semez's attack there.
They definitely missed Clivy over the last couple of games. You know, he is essentially the strongest defender that we have on this Jumbos team.
Arguably one of the strongest defenders in the NESCAC, possibly Division III as a whole.
100%. So we can see his prowess there as he's able to take down one of the strongest attacking forwards in the NESCAC as well.
That will be Aku on the corner for the Mules.
More of that trust in the freshman here.
Ball goes in, cleared out by Schultz. Ball falls to Delinko, who sends it very high, but actually pretty close to the goal.
Just like Nick said, they're not afraid to take those shots. One of them's bound to go in.
Yeah, I'm not sure a shot of that difficulty, though, was one that will go in anytime soon.
Fair enough.
Xavier Camfin checking off for the Jumbos. Mikey Brady back on. Camfin's had a very solid performance today. Ontich ready to send the ball up.
Looks like Feinberg will be subbing in as well. Get more of that defensive presence. Hold that 2-0 lead.
Denby's ball just headed out by Moretti. Would have seen Brady going through. Schultz standing over the throw. Last time Schultz took a throw, or one of the last times Schultz took a throw, it was a goal for the Jumbos. So could be a good chance. Octazani Das running up into the box again.
Like we've said before, these throws are like corners for the Jumbos.
Schultz's throw comes in. Headed by Feinberg, but that will go over the goal. It's going to be a corner kick for the Jumbos. Feinberg with immediate impact back on the pitch.
We'll see if they can make something happen off this corner here.
Randolph taking his time to get over to the corner spot.
Tufts University goal scored by number 8.
Ball played in, cleared out by the Mules, back in by Randolph. Gunn has it out all the way wide. Sorry, that is Bargania with the ball. Bargania taking on his man, plays it through to Schultz, sends it in. Randolph unable to get it. Brady on the ball. Cleared out by the Mules. And it will be a foul there committed by Mateo Bargania.
One thing we've noticed here off those corners is that while Colby has been very dangerous, the Jumbos have not been able to get those same chances. So we're looking for more of those set pieces to start to cause some danger for Colby College.
Colby with the ball out on the sideline. Badu playing it across.
That same energy we've seen in the first half from the Jumbos starting to reappear as they're playing that high press and just really giving zero space even on the other side of the field to these Colby College defenders.
Special makes it through Brady's tough tackle. Continues to keep the ball for the Mules.
Hunt the square ball to the 6.
Badu with the ball. And this switch from Aku. Delinko dribbling forward. And Delinko goes down, but no foul called. Traore on the ball. cleared out by Gunn, and it will go out of play. And with that, Armand, it has been a pleasure having you on the mic. We will be switching back to having Nick and Max joining me, but
Thank
it's
you very
been-
much, Jake.
thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of the game.
Ball goes in to Schultz. Nick and Max, any thoughts coming into this final portion of the second half?
I think the second half has been a lot less measured, I would say, than the first half. The first half, we saw a lot of playing out from the back, a lot of high press, very tactically thought out styles of play. I think the second half has been a lot more ball in the air, run, try to win a contested ball, but Jumbos will take it. It got them a penalty that Danny Yan has dispatched quite easily. So yeah, they're sort of cruising as we enter the final 20 or so minutes here.
Mateo Bargania to receive a yellow card for the Jumbos. Last season, he was the player with the most cards coming into the game. So not too much of a surprise. Appeared to be for dissent. So we see
Zach Salfi checking in for Ethan Jett.
the Colby Mules hoping to take this free kick somewhat soon as they are running low on time. Got Stewart standing over the ball. It's a Paez.
Zach Salfi out of Denver, Colorado, looking to add more minutes to his total this season and see if he can make an impact. Ethan Jett definitely came in and did the player who he replaced. So we'll see if Zach can keep that energy going up on that right wing.
Bargania with a great clearance. Brady fights for the ball and wins it. Fighting with Stewart still. Jumbo's coming forward in numbers. To Randolph. Well cut out by Dabu. Randolph still going on the right side. But an excellent tackle there from Dolinko. Ball goes out of play.
As well, we have Ben Brown and Gibson Campbell checking in for James Gunn and
Bargania looks to come off as well.
Ben Brown moving into the 6th role, having played at the 9, the forward earlier in this game, at this time going in for Gunn in that defensive midfield. Shows the real versatility he brings. And you know what else he brings? A very long throw. And he is ready to send that in right now. Head towards Penske. Penske hits it, but it will hit the side net. Corner goal kick for the Mules.
Versatility was my favorite word that I learned today, and we're certainly seeing that with Ben Brown. I mean, when you're 6'5", you might as well be able to play anywhere.
couple players checking in for the Colby Mules. We have Nicholas Donnelly and Zane Matraji checking in for Mario Samoes and Charlie Scott.
Samoa is going to check out now, having not had the impact he was hoping for, not able to get the goal he's been averaging each game. Donnelly, though, very strong player last season. Can he bring that magic back in his sophomore year?
Yeah, as we said at the top of the broadcast, he had 6 goals, same total as Samoa's last year, but it seems to be a sort of only one person could, one striker on the field at a time situation instead of a 2-striker partnership.
Brown taking the throw in quickly, but just a little bit too far.
A little too far there for Zach Salfi on that right wing. He ran it down anyway, but just wasn't able to get there on it.
Ball goes toward Randolph, who heads it back in the middle for Brady. The attempted long goal kick did not work out for the Mules. Salfi tries to keep it alive, but the Mules are able to break with speed now. Traore in the ball.
Arkham Traore, an effective player for the Colby Mules this season so far.
Traore finds Donnelly.
Donnelly double pressured almost right away, and that ball forced out into the hands of Nick Antich.
A goal kick for the Jumbos, and the Jumbos bench very happy with Artuzandi Das and Feinberg there making a great play.
I think it's definitely best interest of Antich here. Just send the ball big and see if the Jumbos can keep possession, just occupy as much time as possible.
Antich sends it up toward Brady, but well won by Stewart, who has exceptional aerial prowess for his size. Back to Campbell. And back to Ontich. The Jumbos keeping the ball well. Androzani Doss with a long ball. Brady chasing it down, but McCarthy will get to that first.
Admittedly, a PK, a hard shot to save, but Brendan McCarthy, I think otherwise, has played a pretty fantastic game, if I'd say so.
Yeah, I agree. The first goal, I mean, who knows what happened in there? Batted around a lot of deflection, so can't really pin that one on him. And it's tough to save a penalty. So considering the score, he's done really well for himself today.
Schultz fouled there by Scott with his pants essentially being pulled down by the sophomore midfielder. So can't really fault the ref for giving a foul there.
Denby with it. Passes that one back and forth on the back line.
Feinberg sends it out to Atrazandi Das. Campbell's touch a little loose. Allows Delinko to win the ball back. Matsuraji on it now. Cleared out by Ben Brown. Schultz has it out wide. Cutting in. Still fighting with Scott. Taken down again there for a foul. See, there's a real battle growing between the two of them.
Yeah, it looked like Scott just got an elbow to the face there. But like we said before, I think Scott's been really strong at the base of that midfield. I mean, it's a tough foul to give away, but it stops the Jumbo's advantage. They had a lot of space opening up down the left side, so kind of cuts the attack off before it really begins.
Donnelly is standing over this ball now. The sophomore led the team in points as a first year and a very talented player, but has really yet to settle into this team, hasn't he? He's not had many minutes considering the emergence of Semez.
Yeah, and the Mules are gonna have to find a way to keep them on the field.
Randolph's ball in, kept by McCarthy.
Almost a little loose hands there by McCarthy, but he managed to gather it.
The Mules will now play out from the back. Ball with Aku now. Out to Scott.
Another Denver, Colorado native for Nick Dorr there.
True, I believe actually also went to the same school as
Ball will go out there.
Zach Salfi. They would have definitely, they might not have played together though, as Zach Salfi played club in Denver, Colorado, and never actually played for that state championship team that won his senior year. Little unfortunate for Zach Salfi.
I'm sure they may have known each other, though, and are familiar with playing against each other, as Scott plays more of a defensive role, Salfi much more of an attacking one. Salfi on the ball right now. Drops it back to Brady. Brady going to go down, but it looked like more of a slip than a foul.
That was a phenomenal ball by Mason Schultz. I mean, he just fired a rocket off his right foot, bent right into the path of Mikey Brady. Unfortunately, Brady trips over his own 2 feet, but still was a great build-up by the Jumbos.
The Mules sticking with what appears to be their play out of the back strategy. You've got to respect a side that really sticks by their principles, no matter how successful or much they've struggled.
You know, I will say, we've talked about them struggling playing it out of the back, but what I also will say is that, you know, Max, you talked about it. Could that be a weakness? The answer at the moment is no, because the 2 goals that have happened in today's game, neither of them came out of pressure onto that back line.
Yeah, I'm not the coach, but I think creativity might be something to consider there, because especially the ball's being placed on the left side of the
Brown
box.
throw in, cleared by Moretti.
I think maybe just change it up. Instead of giving it to Stewart, give it to Moretti on the other side. Just anything to get past the line.
Leon's pass a little bit too far behind, leading to an excellent tackle from the Jumbos.
Yeah, really, really solid tackle there by Ben Brown to stop that momentum. That was really dangerous for the Mules. That was a solid transition moment for them, one of the better ones that we've seen today. And he just managed to shut it down.
The bench
Whose ball's through. Well defended by Taylor Feinberg, the senior captain.
Another substitution being made here in just a sec, as Liam Gherkin will change out for Luke Randolph.
Be an offside there, as Donnelly was getting a bit ahead of himself there. Jumbo's line holding strong.
Max Clivio will head back into the game, changing for Bijan Ochterzandi-Das.
Ochterzandi-Das coming off a little bit slowly.
Yeah, Bijan looks like he did just hit the deck in some form or another.
But he does leave the pitch proud of a shift he put in today. First half, he started the game in midfield, thought he did a really nice job there, got the goal, and then shifted backwards to center back where basically nothing's gotten past him in open play.
A little bit of confusion here as the substitution for Ochterzandi-Das was the one that was supposed to occur, not the one for Randolph.
Sort of had the Spider-Man meme right there with all the pointing.
Not too wrong about that one. A little bit of confusion. Figured out who's subbing. Ref obviously adds to it a little bit.
On touches ball toward Penske, but won by Beschel. Played up, but Feinberg shuts it down. And Penske shuts down the attempt from Mataragi. Throw toward Donnelly. Donnelly takes down Brown, but Traore comes over the ball. Penske cuts it out, though.
Traore playing on that left wing really has had a few touches here and there, but hasn't had any really long stretches with the ball or long sections where he's able to make a lot happen.
Yeah, it seems as soon as he gets the ball, he's being swarmed by the Jumbos.
Well, and I think, when it comes to looking at the point leaders on that Mules side, he's obviously one of them. He's played a decent season so far. And I think, if you're Coach Desautel, you tell your players, all right, Donnelly, Samoes, and Traore especially, they can't touch the ball or really play any big role.
We see some substitutions for the Jumbos ready to check in. Then it's Alex Wall, Henry Perkins, and Liam Gherkin, who was in the game for a short few seconds, but had to step back out due to the substitution errors. Still going to be waiting here at the sideline as the Mules are also prepared to sub on Semez back into this game.
Beschel just got drilled by his own teammate there, Massachusetts native, by the way, back in his home state. I think he's looked pretty lively in midfield, considering the lack of stellar midfield play from the Mules as a whole. I think Beschel's been pretty good. We've said his name a lot, which is a good sign, especially when you're on the ball.
Yeah, I was going to say with this Mule squad, I was noticing, especially in that first 25 minutes or so, and now a little more here, the back line of the Mules has played a pretty decent game, but there just really hasn't been a lot of connection up through the middle in order to connect to strikers like Samoes.
Yeah, and you can also test that just to the strength of the Jumbo's midfield.
Certainly true.
Smothering any chance they have to really play through the middle.
Another thing, the Jumbos have made 5 substitutions in the last minute. I think that, well, it could be seen as a lot of turnover. I think it just points to their depth. As we said before, this is a very experienced team, and Coach Desautel's confident in having a lot of players who can play a lot of different roles, which is something the Mules are lacking right now.
Campbell able to shut down Traore's attempt, but ball played in by Dabu. Wall's header a little bit off, but still gets it done.
Xavier Canfin checking back in as well, seeing if he can make an impact in the last 13 minutes of this game. I'd assume he'll probably... Actually, I'm not sure who he'll check out. We'll wait and see.
Perkins did just come on, so maybe on that right wing for Salfi.
Maybe Zach Salfi, that was going to be my guess as well.
Ontich holding the ball now, able to take his time at this point. Jumbo's secure in their 2-goal advantage. Gunn ready to check back in as well. Traore on the ball. Sends it back from Moretti.
Gunn will be checking in for Ben Penske.
Savior for Mason, okay? Savior.
You got to give props to the Jumbo's positioning and the way they've been sort of set up as a team and just making it really hard for the Mules to break through in any measure. We saw Donnelly there really trying to find space, but unable to find it.
And
Ethan Jett as well checking in. I apologize for interrupting you there, Max, for Mason Schultz.
No, I was just going to agree with Jake there. I mean, you see Feinberg just come charging forward. There is no space for the Mules to do anything. But
well kept off by Stewart there as the Jumbos unable to take an advantage on that.
In come 3 Jimbos.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ironically, a little bit of chaos on the Jumbos bench as one coach yells, "Run to your spots quickly," another coach yells, "The clock is stopped. They don't need to run."
But he sprinted 80 yards.
The Jumbos sending their players off as they have sort of shifted a strategy that we saw from last year where they did tend to sit back a bit more once having an advantage in the second half, but they have continued to keep the pressure on, which personally as a spectator, I enjoy a lot more when teams continue to put pressure on, continue to attack. Donnelly able to fight off Wall and keep the ball for the Mules.
It's not pretty, but parking the bus is not easy. Oh my goodness.
Ben Brown and Colin Leon collide there, sending Colin Leon into the coaching staff of the Jumbos. Looks like he's okay, though.
The iPad is okay, too.
Yeah, he got up pretty quickly, but it definitely looked like it could have been pretty painful.
Sent up by Dabu. Gherkin controls it. Goes down. Looks like he was kicked by Paez.
Also
But-
might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him by the ball.
Very
Yeah, I
possible.
think that was likely. I didn't see a lot of contact, but he definitely went down pretty quickly.
Leon on the ball, cleared away by Wall. Stewart
Leon
continually
is
controls the
back
ball.
up nicely.
Someone's shin guards on the field right now. I'm not sure whose it is.
All sorts of objects are flying right now.
Might be potentially Jasper Paez's, maybe. His socks look a little short. Not sure.
I'm sure they'll find it eventually. Uku on the ball at this point.
Will be a funny moment when the
So-
player inevitably goes and picks it up.
We will keep you updated on that. Jet on the ball right now. Gherkin with space. The Jumbo's looking to break back. Jet can't fin running down that left flank. But Traore able to get in front of it well.
Trier, the only person on the Mules so far today who's been able to outrun Ethan Jett and keep him from sticking to the ball.
Well, in Ethan's defense, Traore does have a good foot on him.
That's true.
We were baited there as Alex Wall went for the shin guard but did not pick it up. Clivio now with the ball.
You know, I blame this on Jack Grealish. He really started the low sock trend, and look what's happened now. We have unsafe shins. It's terrible.
Clivio with a long shot going a bit too high over the goal. Flag getting ready to check in for the Jumbos as we see for the Mules. That is Theo, Scott, and Jacob Sams checking back in. Sams played a good chunk of that first half. Scott making his debut today.
Yeah, you know, I think if you are Greg Cumpson of the Mules, at this point you're down 2-0. There are 9 minutes left. Probably wiser, send in new players, see if you can get something going. Maybe some of the underclassmen will have some creative moments. Anything you can do to just kind of change the system.
Scott checking in. Theo Scott is the brother of Charlie Scott, both from Denver, Colorado. Good to see some new faces check in and some familiar faces for the brothers.
For sure.
Three sets of brothers here today.
Denby brothers, Scott brothers. Who's the third?
The Yanez
Yanez.
brothers.
Giannis brothers, you're right.
We have yet to see Thomas Yanez have much of an impact, only recording a few minutes on the pitch, but we've seen both Denby brothers and now both Scott brothers, so we'd love to see Thomas Yanez check in at some point soon. Flag checks in, coming off for Campbell. Wall on the throw. Sends it toward Camfin. Flicks it on toward Perkins. Collected by Scott.
Admittedly, a good idea. It was a creative flick from Canfin.
Maserati sends out to Donnelly. Donnelly's moved out onto this right side as Semez has checked into that number 9 role. Semez on the ball now. Manages to keep it through multiple Jumbos pressuring him.
We'll say
Taken by his own teammate, Traore on the ball.
Samoa's does have fancy pink cleats. Maybe that makes him a little more noticeable than less. Easier to mark, maybe?
Very possible. Also added some added flair, possibly.
Well, you know, as a leading scorer on the team, you might need a little bit of the flair.
Today is your day for athletic aesthetics on JumboCast. We're talking about cleats, shin guards. Feel free to comment with any other suggestions.
Tell us your favorite athletic aesthetic. The shin guard is still on the pitch for anyone wondering.
Maybe a good wristband or something like that.
I always feel like the captain's band is a good aesthetic. Like, something different on the jersey makes you look impressive because you're a captain.
The hairband can also always add a
Oh,
cool
yeah.
look.
True.
Throw in for the Mules.
Every Colby player does look like they're a captain because they have the C on their chest.
Yeah, it took me a minute to sort of catch that.
Right. It's like a hockey sweater, but it's just for Colby.
Ball played up towards Semez, but Ontic able to collect. Oh, runs in it to Semez and drops the ball, but manages to collect it again.
Luke Randolph checking in for Liam Gherkin.
Semez is lucky he didn't get a whistle blown on him there. Running into the goalkeeper is not something you want to do if you want to keep on the good side of the referee.
I think the ref probably correctly assumed there that it was an accidental contact, Ontic running into Semez rather than Semez running into Ontic, but still, definitely something he'll have to keep his eye on.
Always a bit of banter between the goalkeeper and the striker. Antich wasting a little bit of time, lays that ball on the ground, waits for Samoas to run at him before hitting it.
Especially in these dying minutes, you expect to see that little time-wasting efforts from the goalkeeper.
Certainly true.
A coup on the ball finds Mataraji. Little cheeky turn from him. Sends it out to Stewart. Mataraji has been a nice breath of fresh air in this midfield, having a little bit more flair, a little bit more skill on the ball than the more physical midfielders we saw from the Mules earlier in this game.
Yeah, Matraji made a good run to his Colby right side there and just didn't get the ball even though he called for it. Looked a little frustrated.
It also looks a lot less pressure on the ball.
Wall with a big step in, enthusiasm the Jumbo's bench, because that's a great word, enthusiasm.
Bit of a weight room call there.
Yeah,
Looked like Wall managed to just step right through him.
the Great Wall of Medford. That needs work.
We can workshop that, Max.
I mean, admittedly, Wall's a hard one to come up with other than the Great Wall.
I feel like there's plenty of wall puns you can make. That I'm sure we'll hear throughout the rest of the season here on JumboCast.
That's why you tune in.
Definitely why you tune. We'll have plenty more home matches for the Tufts Jumbos this season as they hope to really challenge for an NESCAC title this year, starting off very well with this great performance against the Colby Mules, already defeating the Williams Eefs, starting off the NESCAC season, and still yet to concede a goal. Will the Jumbos be able to keep that streak going through the rest of their season? Will be tough to know, but
Well, they have changed their pattern. It is 2-0 instead of 1-0.
really doubled their goal output.
True.
Ben Brown, by the way, still playing in midfield. It's really interesting to see him so deep in midfield instead of playing at the top of the forward line. But he's done pretty well.
And he's done some of both this season. He's played some in that more defensive midfield role, particularly against Williams. We saw him play for a good chunk there.
Nicholas checking in, and then as well,
Bongdia.
Bongdia checking in. Not sure who Bongdia is checking in for, or honestly, Nicholas.
I expect Canfin to come off and possibly Jet. Got confirmation there that it will be the substitution. So
The Oracle of Medford.
the gun able to
Big loss.
tackle. And interesting score update. Currently Williams has defeated Amherst. That is number 1, I believe, in the country. Amherst falling to Williams, who the Jumbos themselves defeated 1-0 last week. And that is a big score update with the favorites for the NESCAC title, last year's NESCAC champions, falling to the Williams Eefs.
It's great news for the Jumbos, and by the transitive property, that means the Jumbos are now better than Amherst.
And by transitive property, that means they're better than the number 1 team in the country. They might be
Correct.
better than every team in the country. We'll see. But maybe getting a bit ahead of ourselves there. But we'll see what happens
Yeah,
across the
let's
rest of this season.
Not count the chickens before they hatch. A lot of season left.
Good amount of season left.
I just wanted to show off that I knew what the transitive property was.
Very proud of you, Max.
I mean, admittedly as well, it will help our RPI when it comes to season rankings. The fact that, team we beat a really good team. Should help later when things like NCAA rankings start to matter.
The Jumbos themselves will face Amherst later this season. If you want to check that out, that will be in Amherst, Massachusetts on October 15th, the Tuesday. So definitely will be a good game to watch. Speaking of good games to watch, the Jumbos take on Receiving Votes Connecticut College tomorrow, Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. as Clivio just took out some as referee runs over quickly to give a yellow.
Livio's lucky not to get a red there. He went flying in with that tackle, his left leg.
It does get a yellow,
Hit the
though, important to
knee.
note.
That was Samoes who was the victim of the tackle.
It's not a red card. Just because it's your best player, it's not a red card.
Tomorrow, as we mentioned, though, that Connecticut College game should be a big one. Connecticut College made the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament last year. One of the top teams in SCAC. Will be a great battle tomorrow on Somerville Youth Soccer Day at 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Jake, do you happen to know if when a player receives a yellow, they have to sub off? I guess the answer is no.
That is not a rule in D3 soccer. It is a case in some places, but not here, as far as I'm aware.
But the aim of subbing Clivio off is he's already missed the first 2 games of the season. So if he gets another yellow, then he's got to miss another game, which is not ideal.
Octarzani Das, though, ready to check in for Clivio. But it is a strategy, though, if you don't want to have a player with a yellow card on the pitch. Don't want to risk any more fouls, more yellow cards, more foul accumulation, risk losing arguably one of your best players for the next match. As we mentioned, that massive match against Connecticut College.
Especially since this game is pretty much over.
And especially when you have the depth that we have. We've seen Octarzani Das, Feinberg, and Clivio all put in excellent shifts in the center back role. They don't need Clivio on the pitch at this point. Probably best to just preserve him for that next game. Ball goes right past Clivio and Semez to Feinberg.
Arkham Traore went down there limping on his left foot a little bit.
Feinberg's ball a little bit too far for Nicholas as the Mules hope to reset. 2 minutes left. They need to get on the board quickly if they want to have a chance to get anything out of this game. Bongdi on the ball. Excellent tackle there from Theo Scott to block it. The first year coming in clutch to deny Bongdia on that attack.
Both Scott brothers have been tremendous defensively for the Mules today. Bongdia had a nice, clean chance there on goal, but nice sliding tackle. And both Colby primary goal scorers, Donnelly and Samoes, are on the pitch right now, so they're going for it.
They really have to. 2 minutes, 3 seconds left as the Jumbos take a throw in there on the sideline. Ball will go out of play. Be another throw in for the Jumbos.
Yeah, you can certainly bet here that the Mules are going to throw the kitchen sink and everything else at it.
Looks like it was a kick, not a foul, but confused why the ball has gone the opposite direction, but must have been a infraction of some sort against the Jumbos. I think the referee might have been saying that it was actually a foul on the Jumbos, not on the Mules. Ball played up towards Semez, denied by Octarzani Das.
Octarzani Das has really played a fantastic game so far.
Did score that first goal and has played a great piece in that center back spot and that defensive mid spot.
Really showing versatility, as we've talked about a bit. And I think those players are so valuable, someone that can really play that center back position and clearly play it with a pretty decent Colby offensive line, but then also be able to play on that offensive side for his own team and put a goal in the back of the net.
Donnelly tries to play it up, goes off of the shoulder of Alex Wall.
1
Too
minute.
high for a handball. Leon on the ball now. Cleared up. Bongdia chasing it down.
1 minute remaining, or actually about 40 seconds in this matchup between the Mules and the Jumbos. Jumbos obviously up 2-0.
Wall sends it up to Ben Brown, who just kicks it up. Well received by Theo Scott. 30 seconds left for the Mules. Ball taken there by Stewart, bringing it up the field. Tried to grab the ball before it went out of bounds, but Looks like he caught himself just a little bit too quick. Few seconds left in this game.
And
Colby
that
will
does it.
take on the University of Hartford tomorrow at 1 p.m. I do believe 1 p.m. it is, while the Jumbos will obviously take on Connecticut College tomorrow.
We will be back in a few minutes with an interview with a Jumbos player. Don't go anywhere.
After a 2-0 Jumbos win over the Colby Mules, I'm here with Bijan Asartani Das. Bijan, first goal of the year for you. How did that feel?
Oh my God, it felt great. I mean, dude, I wasn't even expecting to get the ball there. I just brought it down and shot it. I got a lucky deflection. I'm so happy. My first goal last season was against Colby, so it feels good.
Definitely a lucky opponent for you. Also, you played a lot of the game in midfield, a lot of the game in defense. How does it feel being that versatile, being able to help the team out in multiple spots?
Feels good, man. It feels like I'm reliable. My coach definitely likes it. I like that I'm just getting minutes. I mean, I'm getting more than last season, so I'm happy. That's all I care about, just playing, having fun.
If you look behind us, there's quite a big crowd for homecoming here at Bellow Field. How does it feel to get a homecoming win? It's a great, beautiful day, and you guys came out 2-0 victors.
It feels great. I mean, the alumni were amazing, and I mean, like, my dad's here, so I'm pretty happy. So, yeah, I mean, what a win.
And then obviously tomorrow, Con College is quite the tough opponent. What are you guys looking forward to tomorrow?
What are we looking forward to, or are we just looking forward to it?
All of the above.
I mean, yeah, we're looking forward to winning. So, but yeah, we're looking forward to the game. Our coach always tells us to like ignore, like not think about it until the game ends. So, hadn't thought about it until you asked me the question. But yeah, very excited. Just happy to play.
Awesome. Congrats on the goal.
Thank you.
Congrats on the win. Oh, I'm sending us out. That's it for us here on Bellow Field. 2-0 win for the Jumbos. Thanks to everybody who watched both of our games today. We'll be back shortly with football over on Ellis Oval. Stay tuned.